Hello student, I am Dr. Himani Khanduri, and in this video I am going to discuss the important questions from Unit 5 of Engineering Physics as per the AKTU syllabus. I will discuss the short answer questions and long answer questions, and short answer questions carrying 2 marks. Okay. And the long answer carrying 7 marks. So first I am starting with the short answer question. The first question is, the unit title, as you know, superconductors and nanomaterials. This is the unit number 5. The first short answer question is, state any 2 important properties of quantum dots and mention their significance. So the 2 properties are, first is the nano materials have high surface to volume ratio. Because of that, most of the atom comes on the surface and it becomes chemically active. The second property is size dependent optical properties. Size dependent optical properties means as the size of the particle changes or the quantum dots changes, the color of the emission also changes. Now the second question is, discuss the term quantum well and quantum wire. Quantum well, this is a structure in which at least one dimension is in nanoscale, that fall in nanoscale, and because of that the charge carrier confined in that one. So only the charge carriers are allowing in the motion in the 2 dimension in the quantum well, and these are used in laser and LEDs. Second is quantum wire. Quantum wire means there at least in the quantum wire 2 dimensions are in nanoscale, and because of that charge carriers confined in those 2 dimensions, and they can move only in 1 dimension. And this is used in the high-speed electronic devices. Third question is, explain quantum confinement in nanomaterials. As I already discussed, quantum confinement means when one or 2 or 3 dimensions changes into nanoscale, then the motion of the charge carrier confined. If it is in one dimension is nanoscale, the charge will confined in 1 dimension. It is allowed to move only in 2 other dimensions. So this property of nanomaterials is known as quantum confinement. And this property is used in LED, solar cell, electric devices. The fourth question is, write down any 2 applications of the nanomaterials. So any 2 application is, the first is in medical science. It is used for the target drug delivery and medical imaging, and in electronics it is used for the smaller and faster electronic devices like transistor and sensor. We can make the smaller sizes with the help of nanomaterials. Fifth question is, what is top down and bottom up method? The top down method is a technique in which the bulk material is broken down into smaller one, and from big scale to we reach at the lower scale in nano scale. The bottom up method is in which atoms and molecules assemble together and they form the nanoparticles. Sixth question is, what is vortex state of a superconductivity? Vortex state means when a material is having when a superconductor, especially in case of type 2 superconductor, when the resistance is 0 and magnetic flux start to penetrate the material. So this state is known as vortex state. In this case, the material remains superconductor, but in the presence of magnetic field, it can be used as a superconductor. What is meant by persistent current? Persistent current, that if we consider a loop of a superconductor and we flow a current in it, then we see that the current will flow indefinitely. It means it will never end, it will flow continuously. So this current is known as persistent current. This happens because of the zero resistance of the superconductor. Eighth question is, show that perfect dimagnetism is an essential property of a superconductor. For this, we should know the Meissner effect, which says that according to Meissner effect, the superconductor expels the magnetic field. Means inside a superconductor, magnetic field will be 0. it means the formula of magnetic flux density inside a material is B is equal to mu naught H plus M, where B is the magnetic flux density, H is the magnetic flux intensity, M is the magnetization, and mu naught is the permeability. So for a superconductor, B will be 0. So the right hand side it will also be 0. From here we get M is equal to minus H. So the susceptibility will be equivalent to chi is equal to M by H, and if we will calculate it, we will place M, the value of M is equal to minus H, we get susceptibility is equal to minus 1. So minus 1, if you get susceptibility for a material minus 1, it means that that is a perfect diamagnet. So that's why we can say that superconductor exhibit perfect diamagnetism. So now I will discuss long answer questions, and each carries 7 marks. The first question is explain type 1 and type 2 superconductors. So to understand we should explain, I need to explain this figure. So in type 1 superconductor we have only one critical magnetic field, Hc. So in this figure we can see Hc, below Hc type 1 superconductor is in superconducting state, and above which it is in normal state, means it's a normal conductor, it will offer some resistance. But in case of and also it show a perfect Meissner effect, and these are also known soft superconductor. So Meissner effect means that when it is placed in a low intensity magnetic field, the magnetic flux will be expelled out of the material. Now type 2 superconductor, this figure is showing it is showing that there are two critical field for a type 2 superconductor, and below Hc1, first critical field is Hc1 and second is Hc2. Below Hc1 the material is in superconducting state. It's a pure superconducting state, and it obey the Meissner effect perfectly. When we increase the external applied magnetic field, the value of Hc1 increases from Hc1 to Hc2, magnetic flux start to penetrate through the material, but still the resistance remains 0. It means it is a superconductor, still it's a superconductor, and magnetic flux is going through it till from Hc1 to Hc2. So this state is known as the vortex state or mixed state. And if we further increase the external magnetic field above Hc2, the superconductor change into conducting state or normal state. So these are known as hard, type 2 superconductor are also known as hard superconductors, and they partially below Hc1 they obey Meissner effect perfectly. Between Hc1 to Hc2 they partially obey the Meissner effect, and after that it becomes in normal state. It means it will not obey Meissner effect. Next question is, what is the critical magnetic field? How does it vary with temperature? Critical temperature of superconductor when no magnetic field is this is a numerical problem actually from here. According to this problem is that the critical temperature of superconductor when no magnetic field is applied is Tc. Find the temperature at which critical field is half of its value at 0 Kelvin. So first I will discuss what is the critical magnetic field. So critical field, to understand the critical field, first we need to understand, suppose we are having a superconductor and we apply a external magnetic field with the increasing intensity. We start from, first of all we take that superconductor and we start decreasing the temperature of the superconductor below its transition temperature, below its critical temperature. So when its critical temperature, when the temperature is below its critical temperature, now the conductor will change into superconducting state. Now we start to apply the magnetic field, and when we increase the strength of the magnetic field, we find initially it show the Meissner effect, it expel all the magnetic flux going inside through it, and as the value of magnetic field increases, it gradually okay. So critical magnetic field, in case of type 1 I am saying, then we start increasing the value of magnetic field. Initially it was in superconducting state. So what happened? After reaching at a particular value of magnetic field, the magnetic flux expel from the, after reaching at the particular value, the superconductor turns into a normal state. Means कि जब हम किसी superconducting material को एक सुपर कंडक्टिंग मटीरियल को पहले हम टीसी से नीचे लाते हैं, सुपर कंडक्टिंग स्टेट में लाते हैं, उसके बाद जब हम मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, जो एक्सटर्नल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है, उसका इंटेंसिटी ग्रेजुअली इंक्रीज करते हैं, तो एट अ सर्टेन वैल्यू ऑफ मैग्नेटिक फील्ड सुपर कंडक्टर लूजेज इट्स सुपर कंडक्टिविटी एंड टर्न इनटू अ नॉर्मल स्टेट. So the minimum value of applied magnetic field which turned the superconductor into a normal conductor, that is known as critical magnetic field. यानी कि किसी भी मटेरियल को अगर हम critical magnetic field में रखते हैं तो superconductor normal state में change हो जाएगा. So here the variation of critical field with the temperature is shown in this figure. So it is showing that, so when we see the variation of critical field with the temperature, we get a parabola. So when there is no magnetic field, the transition temperature is Tc, and as the if we are applying a magnetic field Hc, then when we apply the magnetic field Hc, it will turn into a normal state. So if again we want to bring it in the superconducting state, we have to decrease its temperature. So this is the formula which explains this curve. So Hct is equal to Hc0 1 minus T square upon Tc square, where Hct is the critical field at temperature T, Tc is the critical temperature at 0 magnetic field, and Hc0 is the critical field at 0 Kelvin. According to that question that I has already discussed, it is given that Hct is equal to the Hc naught upon 2. So when we substitute this value in equation 1, this equation, so in this way we can, after substituting the value in the equation, we get this derivation and we find the temperature of the, at which temperature of the superconductor, at which the value is half of its critical field at 0 Kelvin. Okay. Next question is, explain the method of preparation and of nanomaterials. The first is Sol gel method and second is chemical vapor deposition method. Okay. The Sol gel, now the answer is, the Sol gel method is used for the preparation of the synthesis of the nanomaterials, nanoparticles. We synthesize mostly nanoparticle with this method, and this is the technique which comes under bottom-up chemical technique. So in this technique, the principle is that we take the metal chloride and we mix it in a water, or in place of chloride we can take alkoxide and mix it in another solvent, in a suitable solvent, which is alcohol and water. So first we mix, there is a process take place, hydrolysis, I will explain it later, and then condensation reaction take place. In these two principles, this synthesis is based. So first of all, in this synthesis method, we prepare the sol, in which we take a solid, and solid have the particle size from 1 nanometer to 1 micrometer, and that is dispersed in a solvent. If you are taking chloride, metal chloride, then we take water as a solvent, and when we disperse in water, metal chloride into the water, the bond between the metal and chloride in presence of water breaks, and this process is known as the hydrolysis. Next process is condensation. In the condensation process, after separation from in the presence of water, when the molecules are separated, they combine together and form a different structure. So this process is known as the condensation. When the reaction is continued for the long time, the condensation process is continue for a long time, we get a semi-rigid mass which is known as gel. So in this gel, okay, so after getting this gel, we start the procedure drying. We separate the liquid from the mixture that we have, the sole. After getting gel, this is the semi-rigid mass, but that mass always contains some amount of liquid. So we have to remove this liquid from it, and it goes under the drying process. After separating the gel from the liquid, we give it a heat treatment which is known as the calcination. So in calcination process, it is a thermal treatment. We obtain the nanoparticles in form of powder with the desired crystallinity. So it has a various disadvantage that thin film powder coating can be prepared by this, and it requires low processing temperature. Particle size can be controlled, their shape can be controlled, and these are having application in electronics, biomedical science, in sensors, catalysts. It has various applications. The next method is preparation of carbon nanotube. The method is mainly chemical vapor deposition, but I am discussing the preparation of carbon nanotube. Okay. So in carbon nanotube, in this method, I will explain it with the help of a figure. So we take a furnace. It's a tube furnace with a quartz tube in which we keep a substrate, and it has a layer of metal, either iron, cobalt or nickel. And we start, first of all, we create vacuum in this furnace and heat it around 700 degrees Celsius. First we flow the inert gas or nitrogen or hydrogen, which are known as carrying gas. After that, we flow a carbon containing gas, which is methane or any other gas we can use. Methane means CH4, its formula is CH4, and carbon have bond with the 4 hydrogen atoms. So when this methane gas enter here and it reach inside this, the decomposition of methane gas take place, and these bonds break down and carbon atoms separated, and this is attached at the substrate. And at this substrate, other atoms also come and they attach there, and the atoms combine together and results the formation of carbon nanotube. Now the Meissner effect. The next question is, describe the Meissner effect and differentiate between type 1 and type 2 superconductors. So Meissner effect, I have already discussed that. If a superconductor is placed in a magnetic field, it expels the magnetic flux. From this figure we can understand, if we take a superconductor, initially it is in normal state, its temperature is above the critical temperature. Then we see when an external field is applied, it passes through the material. But when we cool down it below its critical temperature, now it turns into superconductor. Then we see the magnetic flux expelled by the superconductor, and there is no line is can enter inside this material. It means that B is 0 inside this material. So this phenomena is known as the Meissner effect. And on the basis of Meissner effect, we can differentiate type 1 and type 2 superconductor. Type 1 exhibit complete Meissner effect and type 2 exhibit partial Meissner effect. Here we can see only one critical temperature, and in type 2 there are 2 critical temperature. Also the magnetic flux completely expel out from the type 1 superconductor, and here partially penetration of the magnetic flux take place in these type 2 superconductor. Now the zero resistivity and perfect dimagnetism are the property of a superconductor, which shows that in the superconducting state, from the definition of a superconductor, we know that the resistance is 0. So since this is the property of superconductor, so it is clear if the zero resistance is necessary. In perfect dimagnetism, I have already explained in the previous question that B will be 0 inside the superconductor. okay, because of the Meissner effect. So when we calculate chi, susceptibility of the material, it comes equal to -1. It means the -1 value of susceptibility gives that the superconductor is a perfect diamagnet. So it is clear from these two that it is perfect diamagnet, and zero resistance is the property of the superconductor. Okay, thank you.